Prologue. Limbo. At Rise, Reverend Johnson is standing downstage right in a special. Dutch Robertson stands in a special downstage left. They both have Bibles.
The Israelites and the Philistines were at war again. The Philistines had this big, bad fighter named Goliath. He was 9 feet tall with a nasty disposition and a serious taste for whipping on people. He could kill 5 men and eat a leg of lamb at the same time.
Truth is the purity of God. And what is the color of purity? White.
Needless to say, things were not going well for the Jews. Every day for 40 days, Goliath stepped out and challenged the Israelites to send out a champion to fight him. He insulted their abilities and their manhood.
People will say that we are against other races. To hate the brown, black, or yellow races is wrong, as it is wrong to hate a donkey, a bear, or a cat. They too are God's creations. No one can argue that they're equal to humans.
Now David, a musician and a sheep herder, shows up right in the middle of the hubbub with supplies for his brothers. David's oldest brother starts running the boy down in front of everybody.
Such is the case with the dusky races. They were placed here to serve the needs of the true, pure light of God. Our mission is not to destroy them, but to keep them in their place.
Sometimes the people closest to you will discount you, to hold back from doing what God has planned for you. Offered a lot of tax-free money and his daughter in marriage to any man who would kill this odious monster.
In order to carry out the will of God, sometimes the righteous man must don horns and hooves to do what angels dare not.
Now, for a country boy who spent his time with sheep, this sounded like a pretty sweet deal. David picked out 5 stones from the stream and went out to face the Colossus.
To prove that we are not against the colored people, but for the betterment of the country, you will each be required to give $25 to be donated between the Volunteers of America and the African Methodist Episcopal Church. American churches, yes, but we will not permit this country be controlled from Rome.
Goliath saw this little boy coming at him and thought it was funny, until that rock smacked him right between the eyes. When David picked up the giant sword and cut off Goliath's head, the Philistines ran away, because evil will only strut when it's got something to hide behind. Expose it, and it will slither into a hole, because evil is cowardly and lives in lies.
We are God-fearing Americans for America. Yes, sir, nothing more and most certainly nothing less.
Scene: various locations in Muncie and Marion, Indiana. Time: summer 1930. Act 1, Scene 1. Setting: it's a muggy summer evening as a car drives on Indiana State Road 18. At Rise, Cooper Taylor, Anderson Blair, Isaac Wingfield, and Pastor J.E. Johnson are driving in the car.
This sure is a long piece of road.
You see the sheriff back there?
No.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, keep your eyes peeled. Wouldn't take much for them to throw up an ambush on us.
Cooper holds up a gun.
Let him.
I'm not sure how the Lord feels about us carrying firearms to do his work. After all, his grace and mercy are with us.
I'd feel a lot better if your Jesus was sitting here with a baseball bat.
Amen to that. Them clan boys could be out there hiding anywhere. They ain't known for playing fair.
You ain't got to play fair if you're calling the shots.
President John Adams once said, power always thinks that it is doing God's service when it is violating his all laws.
They just proved that. Ain't make no sense what they done to those boys.
Name one time when a clutcher ever made any sense.
Cowards don't never make no sense. That's why they're hiding them damn pillowcases.
I don't recollect seeing any white sheets in that picture in the newspaper.
You don't know a spider in your shoe till it bites you. Isaac, you sleep?
Could be if there was less noise in this car.
I heard that North County Sheriff Campbell took the bloody shirt off that dead white man and hung it out the jailhouse window like a flag.
You know they got them patties worked up. They was already saying them boys raped that girl.
You're always saying a colored man raped some white woman.
It's usually the ugly ones that claim they've been messed with.
Or after they caught creeping with a Negro.
And why would any Negro in his right mind ever want one of them? Little, thin, catfish lips.
It ain't got no kind of butts.
If you ask me, it serves them right. After what they've been doing to our women for years.
Oh, but we better not even speak to one of theirs unless we got mop in our hand.
If a Negro fell out of an airplane, they'd claim he raped an angel sitting on a cloud on his way down.
That's shameful talk.
Pastor, I gotta laugh or I'm gonna wrap my hands around somebody's red ass neck.
There's no justification for what they did to those children.
White people don't have to explain a thing when it comes to mistreating us.
There's still an innocent white man laid up dead from all this.
Does that make it right? 2 dead Negroes for every dead white boy.
Maybe it's time for 10 dead clusters for each colored man they lynch.
Be no white folks left.
It wouldn't be all bad. We might be able to get a good night's sleep.
All white people are not bigots.
Really? Really? Name one of them you can talk to without calling them Mr. This or Miss That. They'll run you up a tree just like these boys we fetch.
Now that's the devil talking.
No, sir. That's a man who's had it up to here talking.
That's enough. God don't like ugly.
Then why did he make white people with fish lips and no behinds?
Isaac. Isaac.
I never said he didn't have a sense of humor. Lord, forgive me.
Scene 2, Marion, Indiana. James Cameron's shoe shine stand. At Rise, James Cameron is shining Claude Dieter's shoes.
You being a good boy, James?
Yes, sir, Mr. Clark. My mama would whip the hide off my bones if I was to get into any doublemint.
You listen to her. There are too many boys who forget their place and end up in jail. Or worse. What do you want to be when you grow up?
A lawyer.
Well, now I've heard everything. A lawyer?
Yes, sir. We got 2 colored lawyers here in the town already.
Oh, hell, that's plenty.
Or maybe I'll be a carpenter.
Well, whatever you do, don't do it too soon. Because there ain't no one in Marianne who could put on a shine as good as you. Keep the change.
Thank you, sir.
Maybe you could use it for law school. Colored lawyer. That's rich.
Scene 3, the Schaefer Chapel.
Everybody be getting back from the cemetery any minute.
I'm coming. Lord, it's hot.
That sure was a fine send-off for Brother Wilson.
He looked so natural.
He had sugar and high blood pressure, and that little hussy was always filling him up with salt and pepper. That's what killed him.
She probably put the Greek girl on him too.
Oh, I'm not a bit surprised. Didn't she run off with a horse trainer from Kentucky?
About 2 years ago. Broke his heart.
Oh, that's sad. He was a good man.
And fine. He was about 60 and looked 40. He was tall and had that good hair.
That's because his daddy was half Indian. Well, he's with Jesus now. Yeah, I forget. When did he die?
5 weeks ago. There wasn't any money to put him away. That girl took every dime he had. So he had to lay there until the church raised money to get him a plot.
Oh, now see, that's a shame. That's what happens when you marry somebody a third your age. These young folks today ain't got no kind of upbringing. That poor man laid up in county all that time.
But he looked like he had just fallen asleep this morning.
That's because Pastor Johnson is the best undertaker around. I heard he got some kind of secret from Egypt. They say if he does a body, it will look good forever.
Well, I'm not digging nobody up to check.
Girl, you a mess. Now, somebody told me that the white undertakers been trying to get past the secret for years.
Is that right?
And they offered him a whole lot of money, too.
Well, I hope he don't tell them nothing. They got everything else.
True. But the money would go a long way in fixing this place up.
That would be pastor's money, not the church money.
They're getting back from the graveyard. Let's get a move on.
Oh, I can't wait to get some of your peach cobbler, Sister Fisk.
I made plenty.
How come funeral food tastes so good?
Because folks are happy to be alive to eat it.
Scene 4, Marion, Indiana, a dark alley. At Rise, Abram Smith and Thomas Shipp are waiting for someone.
Man, why we gotta wait in the alley? It stink back here.
Man, that's your upper lip you smelling.
That Chippy gonna get you killed.
She ain't no Chippy.
Anybody see you all come here?
Don't nobody know nothing about this.
Mary hands Abe a slip of paper.
Here's the address.
I say, so what's the skinny?
They go to Fairmont every Saturday for bingo or something. And then they stay over, go to church on Sunday. They don't lock the doors either.
They got a dog?
Old, blind, and crippled.
Come on, man, let's go.
I said, where you be going with that guy?
What do you care?
Come on, Abe, let's go.
What's wrong, Thomas? You jealous?
No, I just don't want to get caught messing with the likes of you.
Look, man, if you scared, go wait around the corner. Hey, like, I still want to know what's up with you and that hillbilly.
I like him. He might ask me to marry him.
Man, that's stupid. Why are you doing that?
He gets paid every Friday. That's why.
He takes a ring off and places it on her finger and takes her hands in his.
Think hard before you do something dumb.
Let's go before somebody sees y'all.
Mary takes off the ring and places it in her purse. Scene 5, Schaefer Chapel. At Rise, Reverend Johnson is doing carpentry work.
Good morning, John.
The answer is still no, Mr. Mueller.
What's it going to take?
Mr. Mueller, we both embalm people. You do it your way, I do it mine.
But yours seems to be highly effective.
The deceased probably do not know the difference.
But we serve the survivors.
You could always refer some of your business to me.
Now, you and I both know the white people are not going to let a colored man prepare their dead.
But you want my formula so you can do exactly what I would do. The only difference is the color of the hands doing it.
That's just the way things are.
Then that's the way things are going to stay.
John, I have some sway in city government, and I am sure they would listen to me if I suggested some zoning changes.
For what?
My influence could be handy, say, if you would like to expand the church property. Maybe open a little barbecue stand to supplement the church's offerings.
We've got plenty of places serving pork around here. Too many, if you ask me.
Some of those councilmen went to this place when it was the Whiteley School and voted to approve the sale of the building to your congregation 2 years ago.
I'll tell you what. I'll share my method if your benevolent friends will help with a couple of things.
Name them.
Start letting us buy property east of Gavin Street and allow our children to play at the YM or WYCA or watch a movie from somewhere other than the balcony.
I'd pay you a fair price for what you know. Enough that you could hire somebody to do this work for you.
Jesus was a carpenter, Mr. Mueller.
Good day to you, John.
It's Pastor Johnson.
What was Mueller doing here?
Aggravating me?
About what?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Where do you want me to start?
You can pick up here.
Does that include hitting my thumb? That man must have really got you upset to smack yourself.
It was either that or smack him.
Pretty rough talk coming from a preacher.
Bible doesn't say I can't think about it, as long as I don't do it.
Uh-huh.
I really appreciate your help.
Glad to do it. I just put in some cabinets at home and at the church. Had this lumber left over. No sense in wasting it.
We'd love to have you become a member of Schaefer.
Well, thank you. But we got the same Bible over at Beth.
Scene 6, Schaefer Chapel. At Rise, Reverend Johnson addresses the congregation.
It is so good to see so many of you here this morning, wide awake and ready to hear the word. I also see a number of red eyes today as well. Some of those eyes are red from all the fatigue that comes from being up all night, tending to a sick child or giving care to a frail elder who is fighting to keep death on the other side of that door. Some of the red eyes are left over from a night at the juke joint. The ways of the world and sin are magnets for even the strongest men. It makes you take the money you made over at Ball and spend it on bootleg that you drink corn liquor out of, the same jars you made at work. Some of you who work at Keener Meats will visit the bootlegger to drink that hooch and eat the same ribs you cut off the hog. Sin makes you spend your money on fast women while the mother of your children struggles to feed your babies. And even though you are burning through your money and the little bit of time we have on this earth, sin makes you believe you're fireproof. But you got a friend who was with you last night. He was right there watching you swilling poison and rolling dice. Yes, he walked right into the devil's house, whispered in your heart, and told you that you are on fire. That is why you dragged your hungover hide into house this morning. His house. Even though you have chewed some gum and splashed on Old Spice, the smell of midnight hangs on you like a $3 suit. But you came here because in your heart you know that there was a friend who was waiting to welcome you back to life instead of you living in servitude to Satan. He is a friend who wants to extinguish the flames that are consuming you. But you don't want to take that next step to meet him. Sin is your master, telling you that everything is just fine the way it is. All the while it feeds on your soul until there is nothing left but a wasted mound of flesh to be placed in a box and into the ground. The other day, I was working on a pew when a man came to see me, a white man. He wanted something I have. Now, we all know that normally when a white man wants something we have, he'll just take it. Might be our land, might be our labor, might be our life. He could not take what I have, and I wasn't about to sell it. I was feeling proud, but I forgot that what I have is a gift from God. I let my pride cloud my mind to the fact that what I have, all that I have, comes from God. To remind me of that fact, God moved my thumb right under that hammer. The point I'm trying to make is, don't let your pride get in the way of God's gifts. One of those gifts is redemption. Any of you who have fallen on the path of unrighteousness can receive this gift. If you are bound by rot gut liquor, card playing, dice throwing, or unfaithfulness, come up here and let Jesus reach out his hand to you. There is no shame to stumbling. But it is a disgrace to stay down when he is waiting to lift you back up. How many more times does the hammer have to strike before you choose life over death?
Scene 7, Clan Clubhouse. At Rise, Dutch Robertson, Whitey Weems, Sheriff Fred Puckett, and Bill Mock are playing cards. Cleophas Little is performing janitorial duties.
Did you all hear about that colored boy they found in Mississippi in the river?
No? What happened?
I'll take one.
Found him wrapped in almost 100 pounds of chains.
2.
I'm good.
Dealer takes 3.
Sheriff said it was just like a nigger to steal more than he could carry.
Full house.
Damn.
Your donations to my campaign are greatly appreciated, boys.
You cheat.
You're dealing.
And drunk.
And a lousy card player.
Hey, Shiny, come here.
Yes, sir.
Go out and get that package out of my trunk and bring in another jar of my medicine.
Which car is yours, Mr. Dutch?
Blue Studebaker. The new one.
Yes, sir.
And don't you think about no foolishness.
Oh, not me, Mr. Dutch.
So you went ahead and got one.
I had to. Oh, that old one was close to kicking the bucket. I got an image to keep up.
Oh, smart.
Who'd you buy it off of?
Munson.
I wouldn't buy anything from that Peckerwood.
Why not? He does right on price.
I wouldn't do business with him because he has poor ideas about things.
Like what?
Catholics and the like. I talked to him about joining, but he wouldn't do it.
Still America, Whitey. Man can think about any way he wants and associate with anybody he wants to choose.
I told him he'd get about 50 new customers out of it because we like to support our own.
Problem is, most of them ain't got a job.
Don't matter. Him and his brother both will probably be out of business in 5 years. You know, the bad economy is killing the car business. especially Cadillacs.
President Hoover says things are going to turn around soon, and when they do, men are going to have money in their pockets and they're going to want to spend it somewhere.
That son of a bitch Hoover wants to raise taxes. How's that going to help people who ain't got jobs?
Well, if he wants to go about fixing things, he needs to start with the Jews. They's the ones controlling all the damn money.
Cleophas returns with a jar of hooch and a large package wrapped in brown paper. Dutch opens the jar and takes a drink. He passes it around to the other men. They all partake except Puckett.
Cleophas, what do you think about the problem with the Jews?
I don't think I've seen no Jews, Mr. Dutch. At least none that I know of.
They're kind of hard to spot because they hide their horns.
What, they got horns? Well, that can't be good.
Hell no. Because they don't believe in our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
They're the ones that killed him.
Shadi, give me one of those paper cups.
Dutch pours a little booze in a cup and holds it out to Cleophas.
Mr. Dutch, not for me. But I do thank you.
Y'all hear that? He's too good to drink with me.
Oh, no, sir. I got a condition.
Dutch takes a gun out of his waistband.
If you don't take that drink, you're going to be in a dead condition.
Okay, Dutch, that's enough.
When did you join the NAACP?
I just don't want a lot of paperwork.
Oh, he'll throw his sorry black ass in the White River. There won't be no paperwork.
It's getting late, Cleophas. You don't want to be on this side of the park after dark. You might run into old Black Annie out there.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Is that necessary?
Yeah, he was getting a little uppity.
I was just funning.
You're drunk.
It's your word against mine.
No, you're pretty plowed.
Totally juiced.
Shut up. Shut up. I want to show y'all something.
He opens the package Cleophas brought in.
Now
he lifts out a clan robe.
Here's glory. Boys, you're looking at the new Grand Club for this province of Indiana Ku Klux Klan.
What the hell is a clud?
It means that I am the chaplain. It'll be my job to be the spiritual beacon that keeps our members on track. The Stevenson incident made us look real bad.
That idiot. Before he screwed up, we had almost 30% of the Christian white men in this state.
I intend to get those numbers back up.
Why don't you just organize a softball team?
Scene 8. Schaefer Chapel.
Ooh, and last night, Cleophas come home sweating like he wrestled with the devil.
What happened?
He wouldn't say, but I know it had something to do with him working over at that shack in McCullough Park.
He's rubbing elbows with Lucifer.
He knows, but he just loves his white folks.
I heard that. I got no love for white folks. What I love is that money they pays me.
But you got a good job working over at the Foundry.
Oh, them kids eat up that money before I even get paid.
How much is your soul worth?
I picks up, mops, and takes out the trash. They don't do no Klan stuff when I'm there.
You're white, and that's clean enough for me.
Last night, Mr. Dutch offered me some whiskey, but I wasn't about to drink with the likes of him.
You should turn him in to the sheriff.
The sheriff was there. They all stick together.
Lord, get a calendar and mark down July 17th, 1930 as the day Cleophas Little says something bad about some white folks.
Oh, hush, woman. That money helps keep a roof over your head. And as much as you give to this church, it keeps one over God's head too.
Do you have a problem with the Lord's house, Brother Little?
Oh, good afternoon, Pastor. I was just saying that some of the money my woman gives in offerings could go to fixing up my own house.
Well, if you offered up a helping hand from time to time as much as you come to eat, you'd understand that the fellowship is a place for the community.
Yes, sir. But I don't have time for praying because I actually have to go out and work for my money.
Well, I'm sorry that you feel that I don't work for mine.
Scene 9. Mac's barbershop. At Rise, Mac is cutting Isaac Broadwater's hair.
You pull a double shift again?
Mandatory overtime. They're building up the stock so they can start laying people off.
Negroes need to get out of this little slice of nowhere and see the world.
Unless to see an old railroad run across the ocean, you ain't seen the world.
I got a Pullman union card, steady work in Chesapeake and Ohio is running strong. So I see a lot more than you.
They're opening up 2 more clubs down on Indiana Avenue in Indianapolis. Leroy Carr and Scrapper Blackwell are going to be there.
Yeah, I went to the station, didn't see no train. Down in my heart, I have an aching pain. How long, baby, how long? That's what I'm talking about.
Naptown is jumping like Beale Street in Memphis.
You ever been to Memphis?
No, but I want to.
We went to the chocolate bar up in Fort Wayne last night. Junior Monday was tearing up some gut-bucking blues, and this old gal got to shimmy-shamming in front of the stage. She hikes up her dress, and she like, ooh, she went to shaking that thing like her drawers was on fire. Woo!
I bet them splits love that.
Yeah, right up until the time Monday jumped off the stage and whipped her upside the head. He started screaming, "Heifer, ain't nobody come to see your fat ass."
That should get you cut.
Oh, you know she pulled a razor. She one of them crazy ass high yellow Alabama girls. Woo! She was ready to do it. Oh, he pulled a 32. There they was cussing and carrying on, him pointing that gun and her waving that razor like she was going to cut the bullet.
Did anybody step in?
Ain't nobody about to get between a man and his wife.
That's why I don't go to them joints.
Or you don't go nowhere, period, man.
Better places to spend my money.
Oh, you don't want to spend any money, period.
That boy squeeze a nickel till the Indian nose bleeds.
Look what we got here, both step and fetch it. Well, maybe you didn't hear, but the stock market crashed last year.
Don't make me know, never mind. I don't own no stocks.
Yeah, but it's messed up the money.
You might have to cancel your lunch with John D. Rockefeller.
You mean he won't get no tip after he serves lunch to John D. Rockefeller?
Country's headed for a depression.
Oh, white folks is in a depression. We ain't never had no money to start with.
They're starting to lay people off all over town, especially colored men.
What else is new? Last hired, first fired.
Banks is closing all over the country. It's all right here in the paper.
I keep my money in the safest bank in the world.
Yeah, where's that?
I sleep on it.
Somebody laughed at Marcus Garvey when he wanted to go back to Africa.
Hell, I ain't about to go somewhere where I got to chase my dinner with a spear. Cleophas, do you want to go back to Africa?
Can't go back to no place I ain't never been.
Like the dentist?
The white man has got you locked up in your minds.
And his jails.
That's because he's the one making the rules. Anytime one of us makes a move to get ahead, he changes the rules and we just go along with it.
Better to go along than end up dead.
Ain't nobody better at that than you.
Oh, leave him alone, Mac. Cleophas got what they call a strong survival instinct.
You mean he's an Uncle Tom?
I got a family to feed.
They pay you in Confederate money over there?
Hey, Mac, make sure he got George Washington on that money.
Hey, old George owned slaves too.
Ain't no Robert E. Lee on none of the dollars I gets.
Reverend Johnson enters.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I can take you next, Reverend.
I'm fine waiting my turn.
Oh, you might not want to sit here and listen to these fools signifying.
I'm sure it's nothing I haven't heard before.
Pastor, what do you think about this depression?
It's all about fear.
Who ain't afraid of being hungry?
It's more than that, Anderson. Think about it. Why are banks closing?
Because people taking their money out.
Exactly. Now, the banks are still there. They still got metal doors on the vaults. The money's not catching on fire. People are afraid the banks will close, so they take out their money, and that makes the bank fail.
But factories are closing.
Stock market crashed.
Hard times are nothing new. Like the Jews in the wilderness. We'll get through.
They had Moses. Who we got?
Up in Detroit, Wallace father's saying we got to give up the white man's Jesus and follow Allah.
There has always been someone to take up the righteous cause. That goes all the way back to Nat Turner, Prince Hall, Richard and Absalom, Jones.
I knew this man who was a Garveyite. He said that you should never take on any cause that you're not willing to die for.
Sounds like good advice. Where's your friend now?
Dead. He accused the white storekeeper of cheating his wife out of a day's wages. The mob burned his house down and everybody in it.
Where do you get this stuff?
Chestnut enters. He's dressed like a sporting man.
Loud. It so is ugly up in here.
It's too damn hot for you to be starting some mess up in here, Chestnut.
What you gonna do about it?
Mac picks up a straight razor.
Boy, I will cut you so short you can sit on a dime and swing your legs.
I shoot him, but I needs to get my head in.
What's up, Cat Daddy?
It's all you, my man.
Chestnut takes a seat next to Reverend Johnson.
Preacher, somebody told me you've been running me down.
Which somebody was it? Robert somebody, Esther May somebody, or Willie somebody? We got somebodies all over town.
Look, man, if you got something to say, I'm right here.
Sounds like you're the one with something on your mind, Chestnut.
I'm telling you to watch yourself.
Or what?
Or else.
What kind of example are you setting for our young men?
Who gave you the right to judge who's fit to be a Negro? You stick to do what you do, and I'll do my best to keep you supplied with sinners.
Between the shootings, cuttings, and bad liquor, you doing a crackerjack job.
Then content yourself to talking about heaven and burying. And the rest of us will live the way we see fit.
I only judge the sin, not the sinner. Because whosoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life.
Who wants to spend eternity shuffling and Yaza boss this and Yaza boss that?
Heaven will be the time when you will sit at the feet of the Almighty.
Shining his golden slippers.
I'm talking about saving your soul.
I don't need no redeemer. I needs money to feed my mortal black ass.
But do you need to make your money running a blind pig?
Oh, it's okay for them to give you money to talk to some guy ain't nobody ever seen. With me, there's something they can touch. If they drink my liquor, they feel good on the spot. If they hit the numbers, they get cold, hard cash. What you offering?
Are you saying that I'm running the game?
Hey, boss, we both preaching. You about to hear it after, me to hear it now. You ask people to place bets on getting to a place ain't nobody ever seen. My daddy was a hallelujah holler, always whipping me upside my head and talking about heaven, but ain't come back to tell me nothing about it.
What would your father think of what you're saying now?
Let me tell you something, preacher. Life was real mean to my daddy. People treated him even worse. When your guy needed a sparring partner, my daddy was it. He bossed his way through a sorrowful life and died at 42, broke down. They put him in a hole, and somebody like you said some words that didn't mean much. They threw dirt on top of him, and it was like he ain't never lived at all. I swore that was never gonna be me, never gonna happen to me.
What about your mother?
She died having me. And my daddy never forgave me for it. When I was 10 years old, he took me to a warehouse in New Orleans and told me to start pulling my own weight. I was 5 feet tall and weighed about 60 pounds. They stacked them bags of sweet potatoes 6 feet high and weighed 100 pounds apiece. I wrestled them sacks off the pallets 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. By the time I was 13, I looked 20 and had muscles like Jack Johnson. Good thing, because every Friday I had to fight my daddy just to keep $1 in my pocket. When the war came along, I joined up.
That had to be just before Woodrow Wilson stopped letting coloreds volunteer.
Down south, the post office was holding up registration cards on coloreds and then having us arrested for draft dodging.
Colored people with guns always make white folks nervous.
Uncle fought at San Juan Hill. He said Negroes saved Teddy Roosevelt's blind behind. But to hear them tell it, he had to pull his gun on us to make us fight.
I got all the fighting I need right here in America.
Things are tough all over.
I saw 3 men cooking a run-over dog. At one of them hobo camps down by the river.
You lying. Ain't nobody going to eat no damn dog.
No, I can believe it. See, desperation shows up in a lot of ways. When I must out of the army, wasn't no real work back home, so I started fighting to eat.
Prize fighting?
They call it battle royale. They throw 10 or 15 of us in the ring blindfolded. We fight for the coins they throw in the ring. There'd be 10-year-olds fighting 20-year-olds. 3 or 4 of them kids would gang up on me like a pack of wolves.
You fought babies?
An empty belly will make you do all kinds of things.
3 white men enter and cheer as though they are watching a prize fight. Chestnut puts on a blindfold and acts out what he describes.
Come on. I can't see you, but I sure as hell can smell you.
He fights off 5 attackers as the white spectators cheer. One of the white men hits him with a board.
Let's even up the odds for the pickaninnies.
That's low. That is low.
So when them hunkies bring them money and they woman, I'm more than happy to take both.
But you're doing the same thing to our people.
It comes in to ease the pain of bowing and scraping for nickels every day.
And you take the risk of getting arrested or worse.
Everybody dies sooner or later. I prefer to make mine later.
If you're colored, it's never late enough.
I ain't worried. I got insurance.
I don't. When I die, I want it to be a sad day for everybody.
Not that kind of insurance. See, I got protection. You see, there's a few important people in town who enjoy white lightning and dark loving.
And you think that makes you safe? You bag a white man into a corner and you'll end up dead or crippled, and he'll go have a sandwich.
There's always one of us happy to help old master sweep his dirt under the rug.
And do it for chicken feed. Ain't that right, Cleophas?
I got a lot of hungry chickens.
You do know how that happens, don't you? Sorry, Pastor.
Don't worry, Isaac. There's a whole lot of begetting in the Bible. Cleophas is blessed with a bountiful family. He'll be well taken care of in his old age.
If he keep working for them Cluxers, he won't live to old age.
Hell, try working for anybody in this town that ain't Clux.
It's not just the town, it's the whole damn state. We better off going to Africa, just like Marcus Garvey said.
Is that why he moved to Switzerland?
That's because Du Bois and them other high yellow Negroes teamed up with those New York Jews and railroaded them.
Blaming the Jews. That sounds like Klan talk.
Nobody railroaded Marcus Garvey. He was a crook. He took all that money from the Negroes for some pie in the sky thing in Africa.
I don't know what's worse, being chased by lions or white folks.
That's slave thinking. You rather stay on the master's thumb. He's shitting dimes and you're picking them up when you could be growing your own dollars.
And how come you ain't over in Africa? It's so great.
I'm saving up. I'm going to buy me a first-class ticket on a steamship.
The only way you sailing on a ship is the same way you got over here, down in the bottom.
Or if they need somebody to row it.
They wouldn't let you buy a ticket on the Titanic if it's at the bottom, and it's at the bottom of the ocean.
Slave talk. It's 1930, man. If you can buy it, you can have it.
Yeah, but they ain't gonna let you buy it.
No, man. Anybody with enough gas and speed can cross the finish line.
Every time you get close, they'll move that line out just a little bit yonder.
And then they changed the direction you're supposed to be going so that everybody who was driving with you was driving head on against you.
Cleophas, you ain't never been driving in the same direction as the rest of us.
That's because I don't want to get strung up.
I still say you can get it if you really want it.
If you do manage to get it, they'll take it or they'll kill you for having it.
This is Indiana. They don't lynch up here.
Keep telling yourself that. Scratch that surface, and they all the same.
Got that right. All white people are just one itch from crazy.
Now, brothers, there is a lot of wrongs in this world, but saying all white people are bigots is just like them saying we all shiftless and lazy.
Teacher, don't give me none of that. We all God's children's mess.
But that's what we are.
I guess the Lord just favors some of his children more than others.
Yeah, that's why the colored baseball leagues is all having such a hard time. Ain't that right, Mac?
Get me started.
Now, what Mac know about some baseball?
Back in 25, Mac played with the Indianapolis ABCs.
I was that close to being somebody.
You're still somebody, brother.
Yeah, but now what I could have been. I was the best catcher around till that fool went all Ty Cobb on me. We were playing the Kansas City Monarchs, and this rookie was stealing home. He was flying in feet first.
Mac crosses to the light wearing a catcher's glove and mask. He takes a catcher's stance. He taunts the batter.
You gonna try steal on me? That's it, punk. Come on to daddy.
Ah! He continues until he spots the runner trying to steal home. Lights resume and Mac crosses back to the barber chair.
His cleats opened my leg, and that was that. Damn shame. I was batting .325 that season.
I think Heavy Jackson was batting .364 that year.
Yeah, he was catching with Kansas City back then too. Now he's with the Memphis Red Sox.
How did a discussion about the condition of Negroes in America turn into baseball?
Oh, it's all the same. Ain't no color playing with no whites in baseball. They even got a separate throwing and hitting balls.
Yeah, that's because the balls are white.
I say they ain't got no balls to play against us.
That's cause they know we'd beat the pants off of.
Or we might splash a little sweat on them and turn them colored.
Well, that's impossible because a Negro wouldn't even work up a sweat to whip them. What? I read the sports section in the Indianapolis Recorder.
Yeah, I read the Recorder. It only comes out once a week.
Oh, my cousin sends me the New Amsterdam Times. I know everything happening in Harlem. 2 weeks ago.
The local paper don't report on us unless somebody get caught stealing a chicken or in the obituary.
If you're white, you're all right. If you're brown, stick around. If you're black, get back.
That takes out a flask and drinks.
And if you're drunk, you don't give a good goddamn.
He holds it out for the others. No one takes the offer.
You'd do it if I wasn't here.
Mac takes the flask and takes a swig and passes it around to the other men who partake.
Watermelon, get your ice cold watermelon.
Oh, y'all can just sit here if you want to, but don't ask me for none.
That's the kind of shuffling Uncle Tom's that's holding us back.
I think he's secretly the first colored Klan member, Ku Klux Cleophas.
Believe me, he is who he is.
You boys know you all want to go and get that letter from home.
I'll pass.
Many seeds for me.
Don't like the taste.
I used to spend summers down south with my dad's people. The cracker who owned the land they shared cropped would come out on Sundays and cut up some watermelons.
The spectator enters.
I paid good money for that watermelon, boy.
So?
Why don't you smile so I can see those pearly white teeth of yours?
Because I do not like you. I got a whipping for that. And I ain't had none since.
I see where Hoover just signed a thing to build a dam out in Nevada.
They won't be hiring no color.
Hey, daddies.
What'd I tell you about coming here, Dixie?
I just wanted to bring you the number slips for today.
Woman, you need to get on up out of here. I don't want no trouble.
Nobody knows I'm here.
That window is clear glass.
Nobody I know comes here till after dark. Reverend, if I came to your church on Sunday morning, would you be having a fit like Mac?
Our doors are open to all who wish to worship.
Yeah, but if she came in, God would go out the back door.
House and sits on Chestnut's lap.
That invitation extends to you as well, brother.
Don't hold your breath. I got a little bit of mischief I got to get out of me first.
How about some sugar for Dixie, Daddy? I've been good.
Dixie, if you was good, you'd be somewhere else.
Baby doll enters.
Oh, hell.
Baby doll saunters over to Chestnut and Dixie.
Get your sorry, honky heifer ass off my man.
I don't see your name on him.
Get ready to see my foot in your ass.
Dixie leaps off Chestnut's lap and faces Baby doll. Isaac leaps out of the chair and grabs Baby doll. Anderson gets up and restrains Dixie.
Now, sisters, we can settle this without violence.
No, we can't. She's been on me long enough.
Hell, everybody in town's been on you.
Max steps from behind the chair holding a baseball bat.
Settle it somewhere else.
Man, you can't hit no white woman with a bat.
Then she better back on the other side of the bridge.
Let me go.
You gonna act right.
I'll go.
I hope Black Annie gets your ass.
Floozy.
Your mama.
Dixie stops and blows a kiss to Chestnut. This sets Baby doll off again as she struggles to get loose.
Fool ass woman.
You think this is funny?
Hey, watch your tone. Let it go, Isaac.
This is the kind of mess that holds us back.
hold this.
Come on, Reverend.
I'll wait my turn.
I'm just killing time before dinner.
If I go home, my wife gonna put me to work doing something.
Reverend Johnson sits in the chair and Mac puts the drape on him.
You gotta act a fool in front of everybody, baby doll.
Why are you messing with that trash?
She gets numbers from white folks.
What? They too good to come to Whiteley?
Yeah, the Black Annie.
Who's this Black Annie everybody talks about?
Oh, she lives under the Broadway Bridge. She grabs people and cuts them up for stew meat.
My auntie used to tell me that mess when I was little. Scared me to death.
Mine too. Black Annie must be about 100 years old.
But still mean enough to get somebody.
Sounds like you, baby doll. You gonna grab you some peckerwoods?
Just that little nasty tramp if I ever see her around you again. And what kind of woman goes into a men's barbershop alone?
Everyone stares at her as the irony sets in.
Sister, the burden of a reputation is living up or down to it. The impression you make is often based on your actions and the company you keep.
Watch it now.
Dead flies make the perfumer's ointment give off stench, so a little folly outweighs wisdom and honor.
You comparing me to dead flies?
Everything ain't about you, Chestnut. He's just saying that I need to make better choices if I want respect.
Chestnut takes out a roll of money.
This green is all the respect anybody needs in this world.
Well, what about the next? Money won't do you a lick of good in heaven.
And even less in hell.
Amen.
So how about it, Chestnut?
You see that 1929 Cadillac Fleetwood car out there? It's mine.
What do you need with that much car?
Did you know that Cadillac salesmen don't like to settle us? But they ain't selling as many since the crash. Now, when that salesman buy a down for his little girl, J.C. Penney, or some cares at the A&P, ain't nobody asking if the money from a Negro.
Baby doll, you came to church and got saved.
The devil got hold to me again.
The devil my foot. You see any horns on me?
Satan comes in many guises.
I'm gonna come back. When the place is a little less crowded, come on, girl.
I just came in here for a haircut, brother.
Chestnut crosses to the chair and places some money in Reverend Johnson's hand.
Put a new roof on the church or something. I said, get your ass over here.
Did he just place a bet on heaven?
I think he's trying to buy salvation.
Oh, you ain't gonna keep that sinful money, are you?
It will buy food for some of the congregation that are on hard times. He's right. Grocery store won't care where it came from.
Scene 10, Schaefer Chapel. At Rise, Reverend Johnson is painting.
Good morning, J.E.
Morning.
Think we'll get a break from this heat wave? The walnut stain on these pews looks great.
I'd be happy to teach you how to do it.
Actually, I thought about what you said about sending some business your way. Look, there is no reason we shouldn't join forces. The dead have no idea about who is preparing them. Together, we could more than double the number of clients we could service.
Would I be handling people like the Balls or the Riggins?
Well, why not?
You're telling me that you bring them here.
That's where the partnership opportunity comes in. You could work at my place. I'd supply the equipment and I'd pay for any extra chemicals you might need.
And my assistant?
Oh, I already have a fully qualified staff that would be at your disposal. We'd split the money 50-50.
Let me make sure I have this correct. You'd have me come to your mortuary, prepare the bodies, and you'd pay for the chemicals, and I'd use your staff, and we'd split the fee 50-50.
That's it.
Would this split be on the total of the service or just the embalming I do?
Just the people you work on.
That sounds more like an employer-employee relationship than a partnership.
Well, after all, I am providing the facility and tools and staff.
A staff that could watch and learn my ways.
I'm sorry you see it that way. I was searching for a way to build a bridge between our respective communities.
Well, if you ever find roses in a pile of manure, let me know. Maybe then we can talk.
Scene 11, Marion, Indiana. At Rise, Thomas Shipp, Abram Smith, and James Cameron are hanging out at James's shoe shine stand.
Man, this is nowhere.
Got that right.
It ain't all that bad.
Yeah, right. Ain't nothing to do around here.
You can go pitch some horseshoes.
Boy, you sure enough country.
I know something we can do.
He pulls a gun out of his overalls.
I'll be the leader, and y'all can be my gang.
What's a gang do?
Make easy money.
Scene 12, Marion, Indiana. At Rise, James, Thomas, and Abram are holding Claude Dieter and Mary Ball at gunpoint. James is holding the gun.
You boys know this isn't right.
Give them some money, Claude.
We don't want some money. We want all the money.
Come on, man, give us what you got.
And what makes you think I got anything to give you?
All you white people got bread.
And you know how we got it? We worked for it. Maybe you should try it sometime.
Stop it, Claude.
What, and give them everything that I worked for?
We ain't playing.
Me neither.
You're making his trigger finger itchy.
Aren't you the boy that wants to be a lawyer?
No.
Robin and Line, you're off to a good start.
Quit clowning around, Claude.
Yeah, Claude, quit clowning around. I can't do this.
He hands the gun to Thomas and runs away.
Come on, man, give us the money.
Or what?
What you think?
I think he ain't even got bullets in that thing.
Think again.
Scene 13, Mac's Barbershop. At Rise, Isaac, Cooper, and Anderson pass a photograph among themselves.
Look at this mess. All those people standing around grinning at those two boys hanging from those trees. It's disgusting.
That's because all white people are devils inside.
This sure makes it look that way.
What makes people go crazy like that?
My uncle used to have this old hunting dog named Baker.
Baker? What kind of name is that for a dog?
Well, they called him that because he smelled like bread.
Kind of bread? Slice the record.
The same kind your mama made.
Your grandmama.
Hold on. I want to hear about this dog.
Well, this old dog was the best dog you could hope for. He'd tree a possum or a coon and stay right there until it got shot or starved to death. He would fetch a duck out of 20 feet of water, rain, shine, fire, or ice. My uncle said that one day he got up and Baker had cooked hotcakes and eggs for his breakfast.
Come on, get out of here, man.
Well, one day, Baker got bit by a coon with rabies. The dog lost his mind and began snapping and growling and foaming at the mouth. As much as my uncle loved that dog, he had to shoot it because wasn't his dog no more. It belonged to the disease.
So you saying that those white folks got rabies?
Something like that.
And maybe we need to shoot them too.
Chestnut enters. He's waving a photo.
Y'all see this shit? Some sorry bastards selling these in Marion for 50 cents a piece.
Those bastards said they killed anybody who cut those bodies down.
Bet they wouldn't have put out pictures of white boys hanging like that.
That's because they don't hang white boys. Maybe we need to toss a few ropes ourselves.
And for every one we hang, they'll kill 10 of us.
Reverend Johnson enters. Chestnut holds the picture out to him.
I've seen it.
This ain't Mississippi.
Ignorance can't read a map.
So what you saying? Huh? We just sit back and take it?
I'm going up to Marion and bringing the bodies here and prepare them for a proper burial. I need to know whether or not I'm going alone.
We'll go. Right, Anderson?
I'm in.
I'm in. Man's got to be willing to die for something or he ain't lived.
What about you two?
I don't know there, Moses. Unless you can conjure a swarm of grasshoppers or turn a Mississippi River into blood to distract them crackers, let me just give you some gas money because I don't know how well you and me would do riding in the same car.
I got a bad leg. I can't be toting no dead bodies.
So there's just 4 of us.
We don't have a lot of time to go recruiting. Those bodies will decay fast in the heat.
4 colored men against 10,000 white folks seems a little lopsided.
This is no time to concern ourselves with the wisdom of the deed, but with the righteousness of the need.
They won't let anybody up there cut them boys down. What makes you think we're going to get away with it?
It's not a matter of getting away with anything. I heard that when one boy tried to take the noose off his neck, they brought him down and broke his arm so he couldn't do it again.
My God, my God.
This is the devil's work.
Why is it when the devil acts up, we pay the price for it?
God works in mysterious ways.
I thought we were talking about the devil. Can't we get anybody else to go with us?
You see anybody else? Nobody's got any guts.
Ours is not to judge the intention of others.
How about those boys? They got judged on the end of a rope. Speak of the devil.
You ready to go?
Are we all riding together?
No. My jurisdiction ends at the Grant County line. The Attorney General is going to meet you in Marion, and I'll be waiting for you when you get back to Delaware County.
What about you know who? They gonna meet us too?
Can't say. But if they do, they better be just as spectators. You're under the protection of the law.
Is that the same law that stood by and let that mob lynch those children?
Give me half an hour to call Jack Edwards, the mayor up there, to see that his men are ready. Then make sure the state police are going to escort you back here.
I hear the white folks are going to the houses of boys' mothers and yelling threats.
Yeah, that's just some low-life white trash.
It's tough to tell what's trash and what ain't.
That's why I need to make sure things don't get out of hand.
I say things are already out of hand.
You trust him?
He's going out on a limb on this. He could lose a lot of white votes in the next election.
But do you trust him?
Have you ever gone someplace that you go all the time? Place that you take the same route every time you go there. But one day, there's something blocking the road. So you turn a few blocks earlier, and on your way, discover that this is actually a much shorter way to your destination. Now, if you hadn't taken that early turn, you would not have known that there was a better way.
I suppose you're going to say that God has something to do with it?
I trust God.
I wonder if God trusts Hooky.
I'm going to go make sure I have everything ready to prepare those bodies. We'll leave in about half an hour.
I'm going to run home for a second.
Why don't I stop by the filling station and gas up the tank? I can drop you off at your house, Anderson.
Half hour. My regards to your wife.
You think he really believes all that stuff about roads and everything?
Not sure. But even if he doesn't, he has to say he does to try to make life make sense.
Or for the church folks?
No, for himself.
Scene 14. The Blair House.
Why do you have to do it?
It won't just be me.
That doesn't answer my question. Why you?
Because it's the right thing to do.
And what's it gonna prove? You don't know those boys or their people.
They're colored. That makes them our people.
Anderson, you have children.
And if one of them was in trouble, wouldn't you want somebody to...
Our children would never go out and rob and shoot somebody.
I'm not defending what they did, but nobody deserves to be left hanging from a tree like a goddamn fishing trophy. Excuse my French.
That wasn't French.
I'm just so mad I can't see straight.
Are you too blind to see that you're putting yourself and your family in danger? How much sense does it make to leave me without a husband and your children without a father?
A man who is afraid to be a man ain't much good as either.
This is what happens when children don't go to church. A child without Jesus is a child on the road to destruction, Anderson.
This had nothing to do with Jesus. People are walking around with no work, no hope, and if they're colored, no future. These kids see their daddies out of work and their mamas are cleaning white folks' houses and taking care of their kids. They live in a world where they don't know what it feels like to wear something first. What kind of God sentenced a man's children and his grandchildren and great-grandchildren to being at the bottom of the wood pile?
The same God who sometimes sends death to set people free from pain and hopelessness. These boys are free from all the misery of this earth.
Then I'm going to finish the job and set them free from that tree.
I don't know how those people in Marion sleep at night.
Better be with one eye open.
Please don't go. Please don't make me beg. Think about your children.
I am thinking about them. How can I tell them to stand up to prejudice if I don't do it myself?
Please, Anderson, please. Anderson! Anderson, oh dear God. Please don't go, please.
Scene 15. We see the silhouette of the bodies being cut down. We hear the taunts and threats of the angry mob.
I put a bomb under your car.
We gotta
nigger.
replace those
You're
nigger
never gonna
bodies
get
with
out of
your
here
nigger bodies alive.
You better leave them murdering
6
coons
dead
hanging
niggas look
from
better
there,
than
or
2.
You'll be up there
We
with
gotta
them.
replace
those
You better
nigger
leave
bodies
them
with your
murdering
nigger
coons
bodies.
hanging there.
I
Or
put a
you'll be
bomb
up
under
there
your
with
car,
them.
nigger.
We got 3
Bomb under your
rooms
car,
with
nigger.
3 more up
You're never gonna
there.
get out of town alive.
The bodies are taken down.
Act 2, Scene 1. Schaefer Chapel.
Pastor, I am deeply saddened by the atrocious events in Marion.
It was murder.
Yes. I just want to say that very few white people condone these acts.
I'm aware of that.
I and a number of businessmen advertise regularly in the Post-Democrat, which has been instrumental in the diminished presence of the Ku Klux Klan in this area.
I'm sure the newspaper appreciates your advertising dollars, but as long as one Klansman remains, Negroes will not be safe in their own beds.
But shaping public opinion can go a long way in getting rid of that threat. In the meantime, I want you to know I and others salute your brave actions in bringing those bodies here for preparation. Is there anything I can do?
Stand guard.
After I mustered out of the army, I swore I'd never take up weapons against another human being again.
I see. If you'll excuse me, I have things to do.
I think it may not be the best time for us to form a partnership.
Charles.
Sheriff? I was just leaving. I'm sure you two have lots to discuss. Good day, gentlemen.
Take care, Charles. Well, Sheriff, do we have a lot to talk about?
I hope not, Reverend.
I'm not sure what you mean.
I know you want to do a showing for your people who are grieving. Better to let the people show their sorrow instead of their anger.
People's souls are soaked in the oil of despair right now. We both know that if you throw oily cloths in a closet, you might end up with fire on your hands.
Smart. Look, I never wanted any of this. But now that it's here, I want to make sure it's handled right.
It is on my doorstep, not yours.
A mob don't separate guilty and not guilty. And I ain't about to have innocent white people getting attacked.
You're trying to make a point. I'm missing it.
Right now, the whole country thinks we're a bunch of toothless, arrogant white trash. We got a lot of decent people around here.
I bet that most of the people in that crowd in Marion consider themselves decent.
This heat makes people act crazy. You've got these corpses here, and I don't want your people riled up thinking about revenge.
I'm not the king of the Negroes. I can't help what people think.
All I'm saying is that I don't want this getting blown up any more than it already is.
There's talk that they want to come here to get the bodies and drag them through the streets. If you will excuse me, I'm busy doing God's work. I suggest you do the same. How many times do we ask God, why did this happen? We already know why. The question we should ask is, what will it take to make it stop? This is a hard question to ask because we may get an answer that we do not like. The answer could be right now, or 10 years, 15 years, or maybe never. When Daniel faced the beast in the lion's den, he didn't ask why. No, he wanted to know what it would take to get out. When Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were thrown into the furnace, they did not ask why. They knew why and who. They just wanted to know, what will it take to get us out of here? The children of Israel knew why they were in bondage, so they asked, what will it take, Lord? The answer was, stop sinning. What sin have we committed? The color of our skin is not a sin. So tell us, what will it take to stop this injustice? We know the who behind it all. It's not just a redneck or poor hillbilly. Oh no, it is the businessman, the grocer, and the farmer. It is the factory worker, the plumber, and the cobbler. It is every man who is scared of the depression, his lack of manhood, and the monster under his bed. And he thinks we are the monster waiting to grab him when he's let his guard down and his lights are off. That is why he dresses like a ghost. He hopes God will not see who he really is. It's that man who should be asking a different question. He should be asking, how will this end? And believe me, it will. No matter what it takes.
Scene 2. Act Rise. Cleophas holds a drunken Dutch up as he staggers into the room.
Good thing you came along when you did, Shiny.
Yes, sir.
It seems I ate something that made me sick.
Yes, sir. It's that medicine you take.
Medicine my ass. It's pure corn liquor. You know where I get it?
No, sir.
I get it from a nigger. You know who I mean.
I don't know no bootleggers.
You're lying, boy. All y'all know each other. I bet you know them two thieving tar babies they strung up in Marion.
No, Mr. Dutch, I don't.
You know why them boys got strung up? It's because they deserved it. You can't go around killing white men and raping white women and get away with it.
No, sir.
Good niggers don't get hung. You're a good boy. I never let anybody do something like that to you. Unless you raped a white woman. Then I'd be the first to throw a rope around your neck. But that would never happen because you know your place. You know what ruined the Klan?
No, sir.
D.C. Stevenson ruined it for us. Old Steve raped and killed that goddamn school teacher. And his ass is sitting in jail for it.
But they didn't hang him from a tree for everybody to see.
But he was disgraced, and that's the worst thing for a white man. What color is God shining?
I ain't never give it no thought, Mr. Dutch.
You know the Bible says that God created man in his own image. Now, do you think that image is like me or like you?
I don't think it much matters. Men and God ain't the same things.
Let me tell you something, Shiny. Those ovens over at Kitzelman Steel burn just as hot on my people as they do on yours. You go out to the slaughter yard and those white men go back to Shed Town covered with the same shit smell as the colored boys. Now, they make $40 a week. The coloreds only make $30. Do you know what the difference is?
$10?
Difference is that the white people get to go home, eat, sleep, and wake up white again. They get to believe that makes them better. You know why?
Because that's all they got?
That's right. If they don't have that to cling to, they'll realize that they ain't no better than niggers, wetbacks, or chinks, and everybody's getting fucked by the rich people. If those rednecks ever figure out that they got more in common with Negroes and with the rich white people, well, they'll join the Bolsheviks and then tear this country apart. You don't want to live under the Bolsheviks, do you?
Mr. Dutch, I don't even know what one of them Bolsheviks looks like.
It's a white man who's willing to give up his right to be white. He thinks that nobody should be richer than anybody else. If you take away a white man's belief of being better, you leave him with no hope. And there is nothing more unpredictable than a man with nothing to lose.
I ain't taking nobody's pride. I saw what you did in Marion.
We didn't have nothing to do with that mess up there. We would never do something like that. You know that, don't you?
No, sir, I don't. You just told me you'd string me up.
I was just funning. You're all right with me. You know, we wouldn't have none of these problems if they had let Lincoln send y'all back to Africa after he freed y'all.
Is that right?
You bet your ass. He was going to send every one of you over to a place called Liberty, or Freedom Land, Liberia. That's it, Liberia. Would have been perfect for you. Think about it. You wouldn't have to call some sorry peckerwood like me boss or nothing. You wouldn't have to go to work. If you got hungry, you could just spare a rhinoceros or grab a banana off a tree. Oh, hell. Don't never get cold over there, so you could spend your time eating watermelon and humping the monkeys, you old monkeys you can catch. Whoop, 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 whoop. All you got to do is go back where you came from.
My people comes from Barbados.
You're from Africa, and you should go back. We don't need you to pick cotton no more, so you ain't nothing but a pain in the ass.
You know you don't mean that, Mr. Dutch.
Like hell I don't. Get the hell out of my country. You walk away from me when I'm talking to you.
That's the liquor talking.
Damn it. Don't you get tired of kissing ass, boy? Don't you ever want to hit a white man in the face?
No, sir.
Come on, hit me.
Now stop that.
You telling me what to do?
Mr. Dutch.
Come on, you dumb bastard. Fight like a man.
He charges Cleophas, swinging his fist. Cleophas tries to stave off the attack, and all Dutch manages is to grab Cleophas's hat.
I don't want to hurt you, Mr. Dutch.
Ain't none of you jigs got any backbone.
Dutch pulls his gun. Cleophas has no choice but to punch the drunk in the stomach.
My name is Cleophas.
He picks up the gun and aims it at Dutch. After a long pause, he stands up tall, places the gun on the table, and exits confidently.
Ain't always been good to you. When they started laying off at the plants, I made sure you got to keep your job. It was laying off good white men, but you got to keep your job. You know why? Because you're a good boy, that's why. Because you're a credit to your race. Shawnee, you still here? I can't see nothing. Shawnee, don't you leave me. Where are you, black bastard? God don't look like no black ass chimp. He's white. God damn it! Shawnee, please don't leave me. I can't see. I'm dying. Oh God, I'm dying.
He passes out. Scene 3. Interior, Clan Clubhouse. At Rise, Puckett is standing over Dutch, who is sitting at the desk holding a wet cloth on his face.
Old lady clobber you for coming home with a snootful?
Somebody jumped me from behind, but I didn't see who it was. Took all my money, too.
How much you missing?
About 100 or so.
And you're sure it was burglars?
Puckett picks up Cleophas's hat from the desk.
That boy stopped by to empty the trash, but he wouldn't take nothing.
What makes you say that?
They all got mischief in their blood, but he's a good one. He knows his place most of the time.
Most of the time. Are you saying that it might have been him?
I'm saying I'd be sad if anything was to happen to him. You know how rumors can spread.
Since you and me are the only ones who know about this, how would a rumor get started?
That was membership money, and I've got to account for it. Now, if somebody thought there was a chance that that boy's guilty, well, they might feel the need to teach him a lesson. That hanging may have left some folks with a sense of righteousness.
I mean, a taste for blood. I mean, that was a disgrace. Maybe you could shed some light on it for me?
Best I can tell, it wasn't any of our people.
There were 10,000 people at the courthouse. You can't tell me some of your boys didn't lend a hand?
If they did, it was all on their own.
Well, now they're saying that there's plans to go get those bodies and drag them through the streets.
I hear tell of that.
Okay, I'll look into this robbery and see what I could dig up.
Much obliged.
Dutch, are you sure you haven't left anything out?
As the designated spiritual leader to this cavern, I have a moral obligation to speak the truth in all matters. And you can take that to the bank.
And I'd have the same amount of money I had yesterday.
Scene 4. Mac's barbershop. At Rise, Mac is sweeping up the shop.
It wasn't my fault. One minute he's telling me he's my friend, and the next he's cussing and wanting to kill me.
They're gonna make a better never mind them cluxes when they get a hold of you.
That's why I got to get away from here. I ain't as scared about dying as I am going to jail. I can't go back to jail.
When was you in jail?
Before I came here, I was working in the Panama Canal. Some dynamite blowed and killed 2 men. The foreman left the dynamite out and it got wet. I was a cutter. My job was to chop through the jungle so the surveyors could get through. Didn't know color to handle the explosives. The dynamite men made too much money and they wasn't about to pay us as much as a white man. The colored workers made about 29 cents an hour and we got paid in coins, not bills. They had to blame somebody, so they railroaded me and this old Indian. They put us on a chain gang busting rocks. You laughing at me, ain't you, Mr. Rock? Well, you won't be laughing after I bust you to bits. What's that? Your kin gonna still be here waiting for me in the morning? And y'all gonna keep being here until they takes one of you and carves my headstone. I remembers what that old Indian told me. He said that white people kept on coming and coming and coming until they swallowed all the Indian people. His people realized the world was never going to run out of white men. And that's the same with you rocks. I ain't never going to get to the end of you. I feared I wasn't never gonna be a man again because them rocks owned me, my soul, and my dreams.
You got a woman and kids. Where you gonna go?
I don't know. Maybe Mexico. I hears they treat colored better there.
Hell, you don't speak Mexican?
Canada.
Well, they got law against colored moving there.
Maybe Isaac knows somebody in New York I can stay with.
Boy, you go messing with them big city spooks and end up on heroin or something.
He crosses to the window and looks out.
I just need to get someplace where I can get a job and send for my family.
Well, I don't know nowhere called someplace. But I got people in East St. Louis. They'll take you in for a spell.
Mac takes money out of his pocket and gives it to Cleophas.
That's $75. That's enough to take you there. You lay low, and I'll write you when it's cool to come back.
But my family, how are they going to eat with me gone and all?
I'll take them over to Reverend Johnson. He won't let them go hungry.
I'll pay you back, I swear.
Yeah, that or I'll take it out of your ass. Don't you tell nobody I gave you that money. Otherwise, I'll have everybody in Wiley asking for a handout.
My lips are sealed.
No, that's a hell of a trick with them big liver lips you got. Now get out of here. Get going.
Cleophas looks out the shop window.
Oh, God, the sheriff just pulled up.
Oh. Here, go in the back, the furnace.
Cleophas scrambles to the back room. Mac resumes sweeping. His back is to the door. The sheriff enters casually.
Howdy, Mac.
Oh, something I can do for you, Sheriff?
You've seen Cleophas.
Oh, if you need some chores done, my cousin got laid off and could use some work. You're real dependable, too.
I'll keep that in mind.
Andy, don't mind white folks either.
The sheriff takes a seat in the barber's chair. Mac sweeps the hair into a dustpan.
Maybe I should have you bag that up for me and I could have some old socks made out of it.
The sheriff tucks the drape into his shirt. He rubs his chin. Mac watches him, then puts down the broom in the dustpan and picks up the shave cream cup. He proceeds to lather up the sheriff without saying a word and proceeds to shave him with a straight razor.
You heard anything?
About what?
Things.
I heard Al Capone is staying at the Delaware Hotel.
Where'd you hear that? Tell around that jobs are hard to come by, so they might want to talk less and clean more.
So it's true.
It's a free country. If a man wants to stay at a hotel, that's his business.
But what about that ruckus last year up in Chicago with all them men getting shot up in that garage?
Didn't happen here, and they ain't proved Capone had anything to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
As long as he doesn't cause a ruckus and pays his bills, it ain't my concern.
There's a noise in the back room.
What was that?
Damn raccoons. They try to get in back there sometimes.
You know they carry rabies. I'll take a look.
No, ain't no need for you to go back bothering yourself with something like that. Besides, what if you get bit?
Won't be the first coon I've shot.
He snaps the buckles on his holster and exits into the back room.
Damn.
Chestnut enters with a hipster gait.
You're my eight-spoon coon, you're my pride and joy. You an ugly little mother, but you're still my boy. Why?
You're looking for Cleophas.
Why?
Whipping some Peckerwood's ass.
Sheriff enters with Cleophas.
I ain't done nothing.
Are we gonna have a problem, Cleophas?
Looks like he already got one.
You got something to say, Chestnut?
Not today. So why are you rousting him?
Somebody robbed Dutch Robinson last night.
Getting whipped twice in one night. Got to be hurting his pride.
What do you mean twice?
He was in my place last night, drinking and carrying on. He had a mess of pig feet and lost a gang of cash at cards. And then went upstairs with Baby Doll. When she got done with him, he didn't have enough to pay, so she beat the living hell out of him and threw him out.
And I'm supposed to believe that?
You free to believe what you want.
I believe you boys will say anything to protect one of your own.
Something we learned from y'all. Maybe that's the plan. Shut me down so all the good white folks take their business downtown to the Dewdrop or the White Raven.
I'm getting tired of your mouth, Chestnut.
Ain't no law against telling the truth.
Maybe it's time you get a real job.
If I do, some of your boys are going to ask for a raise to make up for the lost income, if you catch my drift.
I'll deal with you later.
Well, ain't hard to find. Just follow the trail of cracker crumbs, or should I say crummy crackers, to my door.
Without another word, the sheriff leads Cleophas out of the barber shop.
That ain't good.
But I told him what happened.
It don't matter. They can't let the world think Robertson is anything but a good Christian. Even if they know otherwise, they got a way of making a man tell the truth they want to hear.
I've been beat before.
It ain't about you. It's Cleophas.
I'm going to go down there. I'm going to bail him out.
Didn't you hear that the man tell you to back off?
Nah, he wasn't saying nothing.
Oh, how do you know when a snake is getting ready to bite you?
It rattles.
That's right. And he was rattling like a 10-foot Texas Diamondback.
What they gonna do? Shoot me right in the jailhouse?
There's a bunch of pig farms around here, and ain't nobody interested in looking through hog shit for hair or teeth, if you catch my drift.
So what are we supposed to do about all these snakes around here?
Don't get bit.
But how do you do that?
You got to be smarter than the snake. You from Louisiana? Do you stick your hand in a hole to kill a snake?
No, you pour hot water down the hole and wait for him to come out. Then you cut his damn head off.
So for the time being, we'll just wait to see what comes out of the hole.
How do you know he'll show himself?
Because there's always water boiling somewhere.
Scene 5. Interior, Schaefer Chapel.
For those of you who don't know who I am,
everyone here knows who you are, Sheriff.
And I'll get right to the point. What they did in Marion was wrong. There's not going to be any of that crap in my jurisdiction.
You sure about that?
I can't guarantee the full support of my people because, sadly, some of them share the same beliefs as the sheriff of Grant County.
When you say your people, are you referring to law enforcement or white people in general?
No matter what you may think, not everybody belongs to the Klan.
Yeah, none of us have ever been asked to join.
I'm going to have a car patrolling the area for the next few nights.
Will that car be out to stop us or them?
The city is also going to step up patrols as well.
You didn't answer my question.
Don't hold your breath. He still ain't answered mine.
Both of y'all need to hush now and let the boy say what's on his mind. You're going on ahead, Fred.
Thank you, Miss Fisk. The bottom line is this. I don't know how many they're planning on bringing to town. I suggest you get as many men as you can with as many guns as you can. I'll do what I can, but you're going to have to be ready to defend yourself. It ain't exactly fair, but that's the way it is.
And if we plug 2 or 3 of them, what's to say we won't end up in the electric chair?
Self-defense is not a crime.
Are you telling us to shoot white people?
I'm saying protect yourself.
And we can take you at your word on that.
I've known him since he was a boy. He's decent.
That means a lot, Miss Fisk. I remember you and my mother in our kitchen canning peaches. You gave me one of those pans with a spoon so I could scoop up the sauce out of it.
Well, he was a good boy, Fred.
That's because you always told me if I didn't act right, you'd take me over the bridge and let Black Annie have me. Kept me walking the straight and narrow.
When you gonna let me in to see my husband?
He ain't in my jail.
Where is he then?
I have no idea. Him and me ain't that close. If I were you, I'd get started. I'd get started getting ready. I figure you got about 24 hours between things blow over.
He exits.
How come he don't tell us where Cleophas is?
He don't know. That way can't nobody make him help find him.
He knows more than he's telling us.
He told us plenty. For one whole day, we can go shoot white people.
That's not what he meant. But we do need to get going on this thing.
We should take a moment to...
While you're praying, Pastor, I'm going home to get me a gun.
As she exits, Cleophas enters. They collide.
Cleophas.
Cleophas.
I knows who I am.
Oh, had me worried sick.
Things sort of got out of hand and I had to move fast.
When did he let you out?
He never had me in. When we left up out the barbershop, he took me to the bus station, gave me that money back and said he didn't care where it came from or where it was going. I got a ticket down to Indianapolis. I came back when I heard about what's going on.
You heard about this in Indianapolis?
They talking about it everywhere. They saying y'all crazy.
And that's why you came back?
I done hard time, but it's a worse prison to live inside a coward's heart.
You're going to be here. You better take this.
He holds out a pistol. Cleophas reaches down his pants and takes out a machete.
But I prefers something I knows how to use.
Dixie and Mac enter. Mac is carrying a baseball bat. Dixie is carrying a basket covered with a large cloth napkin.
Look what I found.
Well, look here. Dixie Mae Betty. This probably ain't the best time for you to be on this side of the bridge.
I know, but I thought y'all might be hungry, so I brought some deviled eggs and biscuits and gravy.
That's very nice of you. Thank you.
Why y'all got to do this? These people didn't have nothing to do with us.
This is some kind of game to you, ain't it? You come across that bridge to play with the colored folks and then slither back to your little white happy world.
And someday you'll marry some boy who'll get elected senator. You'll push out some little white babies while your man is pushing out laws to keep us down.
Ah, don't be so hard on the child. Lots of white people get tanned at dark.
It was good the way it was, and now you've ruined it for everybody.
She exits hurriedly.
Us? That is one confused white girl.
Dixie returns and hands Pastor Johnson the basket.
Here, you might need this.
She exits again.
Who needs biscuits and gravy?
Pastor Johnson looks in the basket and takes a gun out of it.
Did she bring that to give to us or use on us?
Anderson looks in the basket. He finds a deviled egg and eats it.
Girl might be crazy, but this deviled egg is mighty tasty.
Well, it's easy to make a devil egg when the devil is your daddy.
Look what the devil did.
Can't pass up a good fight.
The crowd murmurs in agreement and exits, leaving Reverend Johnson and Mother Fisk alone.
What about you, Mother Fisk?
What about me?
It's gonna get dangerous around here.
Well, my house is paid for, and I've been putting 25 cents a week on a burial plot for the last 25 years. So no matter how it goes, I got someplace to go. You're hungry?
She takes a large cloth napkin out of her purse. She unwraps a huge slice of cake and a pistol. Johnson takes the pistol he found in the basket and tucks it into his waistband. They share the cake.
Scene 6. Clan Clubhouse.
Look, Fred, we ain't having no part of this. And from what I understand, there ain't no clan that had anything to do with that lynching.
Yeah, but I hear they're the ones wanting to stir things up here.
I already talked to them on the phone and I told them this is their mess, not ours.
Smart. Because if anybody ever tries a stunt on me like they did in Marion, I'll take great pleasure in killing every damn one of them. Nothing like that is ever going to happen as long as I'm sheriff of Muncie.
No worries. Our coloreds are good people.
Ain't no need for us to get involved.
What about the rest of the town?
Ain't nobody I know about to go to jail over some dead colored boys.
Smart. As Ben Franklin said, a mob's a monster, heads enough but no brains. How about I deputize you boys and station you over at Schaefer?
Now, come on, Fred. I'm planning to run for the legislature.
The coloreds vote too.
That would ruin any chances I have.
I got a wife and kids.
I'd rather call on some Girl Scouts than depend on you clowns.
What did you find out about me getting robbed?
Lenny,
And
if I do arrest somebody and you file charges, I'd have to know your whereabouts that night. I'd have to file a report that'll be public and used at the trial.
yeah, you know, you got a lot to deal with. Why don't we just put this on the back burner for a while?
How far back?
All the way.
Smart.
Scene 7. Schaefer Chapel. At Rise it is night and the lights are low. Nell Little and Mrs. Blair are looking out the window. Mother Fisk is sitting in her wheelchair by the door.
We're going to stop every vehicle that comes down the street, especially if there's white people in it.
What time is it?
midnight.
That could be the longest night of my life.
You and everybody else. Who's out there?
Cleophas and Anderson are sitting on the steps with about 6 other men. The troopers across the street organizing another bunch I don't recognize. I think they come up from Indianapolis. There must be about 60 of them out there. It's hard to tell from here.
Where you at, Isaac?
I'm sitting on a roof with Chestnut and 4 other men waiting to get shot at, Auntie. Hang on, there's a car coming.
Could be a scout they sent.
It's okay. It was a cop car.
Baby doll enters. Her appearance is drastically toned down, and she's carrying a serving tray.
Here's some coffee.
Oh, too hot for coffee.
Well, I'm going to take this over to the men.
It's not safe for a woman out there.
I'm used to running into the men at night.
That girl ain't got good sense.
Don't never get in between a colored woman and her own kind of crazy.
Scene 8. Schaefer Chapel. At Rise, it is morning.
They made the right choice, staying in Marion.
Yeah, and you almost shot up a delivery truck.
Who in the hell gets milk delivered at 1 in the morning? Huh?
They don't. That white boy was taking liquor over to Chestnut's place. Now we should all go home and get dressed when folks come to pay their respects.
We are a strong people. We have traveled far on faith, and we are very good at turning the other cheek. History tells us that the first Dutch slave ship landed in August 1619, bringing about 20 Africans to be used as forced labor. Thus began a journey we have traveled until 1865. Many of us escaped the oppression of the South, only to migrate to the suppression of the North. Here in Indiana, the law said that we had to register with authorities and put up $500 to guarantee that we would behave. We turned the other cheek, and dug in, built neighborhoods, started businesses, and constructed lives. It has been a long journey, but we have not made the trip alone. Oh, no. White folks came along with us, and it was just as hard on them. Fear is a demanding taskmaster. You have to stay awake at night, worrying that a Negro might move next door to you, take a job from you, sit next to you and eat a meal, or marry one of your children. Although I can't imagine why anyone would want to do that. I keep hearing about all the good white people who hate what happened. We've got plenty of good people because nobody thinks they're bad. When I look at the photograph of the hanging, I see a lot of decent people who go to work and pet their dogs and take care of their lawns. But when hate lives so close to the surface, it does not take much for it to show itself. Once again, we are expected to turn the other cheek. Now, in August, 311 years after those 20 Africans set foot in the New World, we can look back and see how far we've come, and look forward and sadly see how far we left to go. I just hope we get there before we run out of cheeks. The crushing weight of time squeezes the life out of the body. That same weight seems to be pressing hate into the hardness of diamonds. I recently heard the myth of Black Annie. She lives under the Broadway Bridge, which is the connection between the white and black sides of this town. She comes out at night and takes children who dare to cross that bridge after dark. Black Annie is real. But she does not live under a bridge, but in the hearts of too many misguided people.